Okay, Dino, in that video that we just did about credit card debt, someone's asking if you can go back on why you don't believe in debt and what do you mean by that when you said, I don't believe in debt?
I meant I don't believe in credit card debt, I guess. I don't believe in all. There's good debt and bad debt. I think that's a pretty general thing. To me, good debt is debt, incurring debt that provides you on a piece of asset that provides some sort of return. So the simplest example of good debt is, in most times is buying a home, real estate. Because you incur the debt, real estate appreciates, right? So as you pay the debt down, as you're making payments on debt on an asset that is increasing in its value at a greater rate, ideally, than the cost of the debt, right? So in general, real estate gives you that return. It's a positive return. You get returns above and beyond the debt that you pay if it's invested in real estate. Homes, of course, it's always a good thing with homes because you're buying something that over the long term appreciates more than your total cost of acquiring it and the leverage. It returns more, right? So bad debt, in general, why I said that, if I remember why I said that, is credit card debt, because it doesn't provide you anything positive. You're not buying an asset. Of course, there are some of the assets out there that you buy aren't necessarily bad debt, but that's just the nature of things, like buying an automobile, right? A car, for example, right? It depreciates, a depreciating asset, but that's more of like a necessity, you need it. Then that's a whole different discussion, I think. But in general, debt that generates, debt that you incur that generates a return greater than the cost of the debt is debt that you want to incur. Debt that doesn't do that, like credit card debt, is that you don't want to incur. Because what does it do for you? You rack up your credit cards and you pay interest on it. It's not adding any benefit or any value to your financial situation, right? Which is why, I think I don't believe in credit card debt. I have credit cards, but I use it for what? The points.
Right. And so sometimes I see, babe, just putting this in here, that sometimes people get confused by saying that you don't believe in credit card debt, but then we have videos about saying only use your credit card, not your debit card. What do you mean by that?
Because
you mean don't carry over a balance every month.
Yeah. That's carrying a balance.
Use the credit card, but don't carry it over every month.
Using a credit card as a vehicle to make payments on things that you do not borrow on, right? If you use your credit card to buy plane tickets and you go borrow money for it, meaning you don't have the money to buy a plane ticket, right?
And you're not paying it off that month.
It doesn't matter. My point being is how do we operate as a family?
Right? We buy a plane ticket and then we pay the bill immediately.
We never use our credit cards to acquire something that we cannot afford, right?
That we don't already have the cash for.
Exactly. Outside of the cars and the real estate that we have, right? But we really don't do anything else, right?
Right.
Obviously some people don't have the capacity to be able to do it that way. I get that. That's why I say use your credit card. In an emergency situation, like you end up in the hospital, right? You got to pay that bill, right? And your insurance doesn't cover that, for example, whatever the reason is, right? Now that's an emergency. It's your health.
You don't have a choice.
What are you going to do about it? Yeah, you get into, something that's like an emergency, whatever the category of how you categorize an emergency, fine. But to go shopping with your credit card. Now, if you're out of cash for whatever your situation is and you need to buy food, need to buy groceries, of course use your credit card. You've got to eat, right? You are in a different situation. You are in like what they call exigent circumstances over there. You need it. But buying this next pair of shoes or a luxury item or going on a vacation is not an exigent circumstance. It's not a necessity. Why do that? Right? So that's kind of what I meant. Basically.
Yeah. Got it.